Hold up. Somebody pull up the receipts because Belcalis Almanza, Cardi B herself, just walked into her live, looked dead into the camera, and basically told an entire room of so-called rappers that she knows exactly who was in them group chats plotting on her. Not one, not two, a whole coalition. And then she said the words that made every blogger in New York lock their front door. Meanwhile, our Nicki Minaj, just casually announced Roman Zelensky is crawling out the basement. SZA clocked her in real time. And ASAP Rocky? Baby, you might wanna check that notes app. Bro really thought a coordinated group chat ambush on the biggest female rapper in the building was a smart move? Real quick before we dig into this dumpster fire. If you wanna see who's really plotting on who in this industry, smash that like, hit subscribe, and turn the bell on. Melanin Scope is where the receipts live. Now back to the chaos. So here's the skeleton. No extra sauce. Belcalis Cardi B Almanza hopped on her Instagram live on June 23, 2025, and went off on Akbar v. Valdez Renoi Williams, and allegedly scratch off, claiming both of them were in group chats coordinating a diss track ambush against her. She also threw heat at New York-based bloggers, naming the projects she allegedly knows they live in. Same week, Aubrey Drake Graham's company OVO got slapped with a $4.6 million lawsuit in British Columbia's Supreme Court filed by ARI OVO Growth Capital. Bro really thought a group chat was Fort Knox. Now let's pull up the receipts that show why all of this backfired in 4K. On her IG Live dated June 23, 2025, Cardi looked into that lens and said, and I'm quoting her, a B*** was really plotting with another B***. Yeah, we gonna make a record about this B***. We gonna ruin her weekend. Child, please. I'm up 30 million right now, this year alone. Replying to what? When I heard that, I had to rewind. Bro, she said 30 million like it was lunch money. And Akbar really thought a Pretty and Petty remix was gonna shake that bag? That's the dumbest flex I've heard all month. Then she switched gears and went straight at the bloggers. Her exact words on live, the type of attention you'll require from me is the type y'all should be asking YA mothers to give you. And B***, you in New York too? I know exactly the projects you live in. Go to my DM and tell me what you wanna do. Yo, that ain't subliminal. That's a GPS pin. When I heard her drop I know exactly the projects you live in, I literally said out loud, oh, she off her meds today. That's not rap beef energy, that's meet me at the bodega energy. Now flashback receipt. Per hot new hip-hop's coverage of Akbar vs earlier press run, Akbar told the streets, I want Cardi and Lato to respond to my diss tracks I in the booth. She also said she's not a Cardi hater, but she don't with her. Brew. You dropped 2 diss tracks, including jacking Cardi's own Pretty and Petty beat which got pulled for copyright, and then say you're not a hater. That's the move of somebody who knows they lost and is begging for the rematch. Now flip the coin to Queens. On Twitter Spaces dated October 16, 2025, Nicki Minaj told her Bobs, and I'm quoting, I got some exciting and fun things for y'all that I can't really speak on, it's in God's timing. That was followed by hints that Roman Zelensky, the gremlin alter ego that moded careers from 2010 to 2014, is coming back. Pop Bass already confirmed earlier this year she was teasing Roman's return, quote, he's gonna be back a lot more now. When I heard God's timing, I felt a chill. That's the same energy she had right before Roman holiday. Somebody's career is about to need a chaplain. And then SZA, Solana Imaniro, hopped on her Finsta the same week and said, and you're not gonna believe this, quote, I realize I spent so much time hiding from greatness cosplaying humble cause I was scared to just be her. This era is about taking up space, acknowledging my influence and maximizing. I'm consciously planting foot on necks because I can and shall. This not the era to F*** with me. I'm telling and showing my ass. Feeling free as F Miley. What's good? Excuse me? Miley what's good? That is Nicki Minaj's 2015 VMA line. That ain't a coincidence, that's a called shot. SZA quoted the Queen's own Bob back at the Queen. When I read that, my jaw was on the floor. And Nicki really got to sit there knowing her own catchphrase got weaponized against her? Embarrassing. Last receipt. Per Business Wire's official press release dated this week, ARI OVO Growth Capital I, LLC filed in British Columbia Supreme Court. Quote, the litigation seeks recovery of approximately $4.6 million allegedly currently due and owing, together with contractual default interest, legal fees, professional fees, enforcement costs, lender expenses, pre- and post-judgment interest, and costs. The filing also alleges OVO acknowledged its debt in writing, obtained forbearance from ARI, then refused to pay. When I read acknowledged its debt in writing, I had to do a triple take. That means Drake's people signed a paper admitting they owed it, then ghosted the lender. That's not a business dispute, that's a confession on letterhead. Now that we got the quotes, let's connect the dots. Watch this pattern carefully. That live? Dropped roughly 72 hours before Essence Festival weekend. The same weekend Cardi and Scratch Off were both booked. Coincidence? Nah. That's a pre-strike. Cardi knew Essence stages were about to put them in the same building, and she fired the warning shot from a Brooklyn IP address before the plane tickets even printed. Akbar really thought the timing was random? That's the move of somebody who don't read the festival calendar. Now zoom out further. The diss track ambush? It allegedly got planned in private group chats before the BET Awards cycle even kicked off. That means we got a coordinated content drop scheduled right when Cardi's promo run for her new music was supposed to dominate the trades. Somebody studied the calendar. The question is, who put it together? Because Akbar ain't got the strategic mind to map a multi-artist rollout. Somebody's pulling strings, and Cardi already knows. The relationship math here is filthy. Scratch Off and Akbar are both Atlanta-leaning artists with overlapping management circles. They both got history with Cardi's camp. They both got something to gain if Cardi has a bad week trending. That's not friendship. That's a cartel. And Cardi calling it out on live was her way of saying, I see the whole org chart. Now flip to the Queen's angle. Nicki teasing Roman on Spaces. That didn't happen in a vacuum. It dropped right as SZA's SOS Deluxe was about to certify Diamond, right as Cardi's promo cycle was heating up, and right as the entire female rap class of 2024 was starting to take victory laps without her name being called. Roman isn't a music decision. Roman is a survival decision. Any smart strategist would have waited. But Nicki? She watched the culture move on for 2.5 years and panicked. That's the move of somebody whose advisors all got fired. And OVO? The lawsuit timeline is the dirtiest part. ARI says the loan was given in 2025, OVO defaulted, then asked for forbearance, which in legal English means please don't sue us yet, give us time. Then after the forbearance period, they still didn't pay. That's not a cash flow hiccup. That's a structural problem. Drake's team waited until they got a second chance and still fumbled it. So Drake really thought asking for an extension and then ghosting the lender wouldn't end up in BC Supreme Court? That's the move of somebody who's never been told no. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Now check this out. Nobody's talking about it. Zoom in on ONE specific phrase from Cardi's live. I know exactly the projects. Not I know where you live. Not I know your address. She said projects. Plural. That's intentional. In New York Street vocabulary, projects implies NYCHA developments, public housing, which means she's also signaling she knows your family situation, not just your apartment. That's a layered threat dressed as a one-liner. And Akbar's team really didn't catch the linguistic precision in that? That's embarrassing. Now zoom into one piece of SZA's Finsta, the phrase cosplaying humble. That ain't random word choice. Cosplay implies a performance, a costume. SZA is saying her humble era was a mask she wore so she didn't outshine certain names. Translation: she was holding back to protect somebody else's ego. And now she's done. The Queen really thought Miley What's Good was hers forever? Nah. Catchphrases don't have copyrights, baby. Patent forensics on Nicki. Count how many times in the past 18 months she's promised exciting things in God's timing. I counted 4, going off public spaces and X posts. Each one followed a Cardi B win, a SZA milestone, or a viral moment that wasn't her. That's not divine timing. That's reactive timing dressed in scripture. And the bobs really fall for it every single cycle? Brew. Legal forensics on OVO. The press release uses the phrase acknowledged its debt in writing. In contract law, That's called an acknowledgement of debt, and it resets the statute of limitations. Translation: OVO didn't just admit they owed the money, they accidentally extended the legal window for AI to keep coming after them. That's the kind of mistake a real lawyer should have blocked. So Drake's legal team really let him sign an acknowledgement in default? That's the problem with opposition. He hires yes men, not advisors. Now let's see how the media covered this. Hot New Hip Hop framed the Akbar v situation as a legitimate diss track campaign deserving of a booth response, basically giving Akbar credibility as a peer challenger. But remember those bars from earlier? Cardi already said you went viral for 15 hours. What did that do? That's not a peer. That's a hitchhiker. Instagram coverage from Team Ye and the IG Reels community framed Cardi's response as spiritual and uplifting, focusing on the let the hate go energy. But the framing ignores the second half of the live, where she pulled up projector dresses. They told y'all the wholesome part and skipped the warning shot. Business Wire and National Law Review framed the OVO lawsuit as a standard commercial dispute. Standard: when the lender publicly publishes the forbearance default. That's not standard. That's public shaming. Real corporate disputes get settled in the dark. AI wants the world to know. Some Drake fans are already saying $4.6 million is pocket change for OVO. Cool. Then why did they default? Why did they ask for forbearance? Why did they need a second chance? Pocket change don't trigger BC Supreme Court filings. The same people defending him now are the ones who said Not Like Us wouldn't win Record of the Year. That track record speaks for itself. But here's what nobody is saying. Something about this whole week feels OFF, and I gotta say it. This ain't 5 separate stories. This is ONE story wearing 5 outfits. Here's the angle nobody's touching. The female rap economy is undergoing a hostile takeover, and the old guard is panicking in real time. Think about it. In the last 30 months, SZA's SOS went diamond. Cardi's been quietly stacking 30 mil a year while barely dropping music. Doha's reloading after V flopped, Megan's back outside, and Beyoncé's reportedly cooking. That entire ecosystem grew up without needing Nicki Minaj's permission. And that's the part that hurts. Roman isn't coming back to make music. Roman is coming back as a relevance lifeboat. That's not creativity. That's commercial CPR. And a knicker represents the old god playbook, alter egos, subtweet warfare, Bob's armies. The culture done outgrew all of that. SZA writing Miley what's good on a Finsta is the new generation saying, we don't need your alter egos. We got range. That's a cultural funeral dressed as a status update. Now flip to Cardi. The reason her live hit so hard ain't the threats, it's the math. I'm up 30 million this year alone. That's not a flex, that's a scoreboard. Akbar dropped 2 diss tracks, one got copyright pulled, the other went viral for 15 hours. You can't outstream a woman who's banking off endorsement money she doesn't even rap for. The whole diss track economy is dying because rap is no longer the primary revenue. Akbar's playing 2014 chess in a 2026 market. That's a losing position before the first bar drops. Now apply the same lens to A$AP Rocky, Rakim Athalaston Myers. The blind item dropped this week claiming he's been supporting about a half dozen women monthly behind Ria's back, with the Tier 1 girls visiting his house and the disposables being met elsewhere. Now between us, I don't fully buy the half dozen math. Bro doesn't have Drake-level discretionary income to fund 6 full lifestyles. But the smaller claim, that he's been chummy with somebody he shouldn't be, like that Met Gala moment where he was lingering while rubbing Rihanna Fenty waited for the car, that one has legs. And A$AP really thought standing in front of 1,000 camera lenses on Met Gala steps was a discreet location? That's the move of a man who forgot his girlfriend owns a billion-dollar empire built on public image. Connect everything. Akbar plotting. Nicki resurrecting Roman. A$AP allegedly creeping. Drake's company defaulting. SZA flexing. All 5 stories are the same story. The people who built their careers on the OLD industry model are getting exposed simultaneously because the culture finally has receipts, screen recordings, and lawsuits dropping on the same Tuesday. Group chat ain't safe. Met Gala carpets ain't safe. Forbearance agreements ain't safe. Nothing is private anymore. And the old god's whole playbook required privacy. So when Cardi said God is so crazy at the top of her life, yeah, she wasn't being spiritual. She was reading the cosmic scoreboard. The universe is auditing everybody this week. And, opposition, wherever you fit on that list, your file just got pulled. And that's the truth they won't tell you. Nah, this is about to go left. Path 1. The collapse. Watch Akbar vs next move carefully. She's gonna try to escalate, drop another freestyle, maybe go on a podcast and play victim. But Cardi already set the trap. She said, "You ain't making me no money." That means Cardi won't respond on record, which forces Akbar to keep throwing punches at a brick wall. 6 months from now, Akbar's name is gonna be a punchline on Twitter, not a contender. The silence is gonna hurt her more than any diss track could. She'll be doing IG lives begging for a response that's never coming. Path 2. Roman gets smoked. Here's where it gets ugly for the Pink Friday camp. If a knicker really brings Roman back on the next album, she's walking into a trap. SZA already drew the sword with Miley What's Good. Cardi's got 30 million in the bank and zero need to engage. The Carters are reloading. Liz Lato too. Roman's gonna show up to a battlefield where nobody's playing checkers anymore. They are playing chess, baseball, and running businesses. And Roman's whole brand was built on going AT people who would engage. What happens when nobody picks up the phone? Nicki's gonna look like she's screaming into a mirror. That ain't a comeback. That's a public meltdown with album art. Path 3. The OVO domino. Mark this on your calendar. That $4.6 million lawsuit is just the warning shot. BC Supreme Court filings are public, which means other creditors, other vendors, other people OVO might owe money to are reading the same press release we are. Once one lender successfully extracts payment, the floodgates open. Drake's gonna be doing damage control by Q3. And if the rumors about him quietly selling 50% of OVO are true, that ain't a business move. That's a fire sale. 5 years from now, OVO will either be absorbed by a major or quietly dissolved into a sub-imprint, and the streets will remember this week, June 2026, as when the empire started crumbling on paper. And ASAP? If even one of those alleged side pieces decides to talk publicly, Ree is gone. Robin Rihanna Fenty does not play about her brand or her kids. She'll drop him on a Tuesday, post a Fenty campaign on Wednesday, and be at brunch with Jay-Z by Friday. ASAP is one screenshot away from being the cautionary tale of 2026. The scary part? Everything feels quiet right now. But every single one of these stories has a second shoe that hasn't dropped yet. Whatever happens, Akbar, Nicki, Drake, ASAP, every single one of them already lost the week. The only question is who loses the year. Listen, the receipts are public, the group chats are leaking, the lawsuits are filed, and the alter egos are crawling out the basement. This summer is about to be a massacre, and Melanin is the only place keeping the full timeline. Drop your take in the comments. Who you got winning this war? Cardi, Nicki, SZA, or the streets? Hit like, subscribe, ring that bell, and stay close, because the next shoe drops fast, and when it does, you'll wanna be in the room. Tomorrow we're cracking open something wild on T-Kiev, Champagne, Thickums, and the Jocelyn Ozu situation. You do not want to miss that. The plotting is over. The receipts are out. And somebody in a group chat right now is reading this video transcript wondering how we knew. Stay tuned.